no, Marion, you're another generation, yeah, pet.
I am, you're right.
I mean, saying you were days, right, good. I mean, saying, but hey, lasses were losing their virginity when you were a young lass.
Well, they may well have been.
Well, I know you didn't. I know you didn't, darling.
Hey?
I know you didn't, but I mean, you say, when the Blitz was happening, my God, people were just saying, oh, take it before the bomb takes me. Before.
I'll tell you what.
What?
People, young people then just took what they could because they didn't know what tomorrow would bring.
Well, of course.
And that's the way I look at it.
It was a choice of a German doodle bug or a British doodle bug.
Exactly.
My God.
You're right there.
But my mother was a virgin when she married. And,
how do you know that?
Because she did never lie to me. She always told the truth.
She didn't need to lie to you.
No,
You know, listen, you brought a little brightness into my life tonight by talking like that. I just thought, bring a little bit of seriousness into your
Bring it in. Bring it on in.
Right, fine. What do you think of the railway situation? That was what I was going to ask you.
Well, what do you think? Do you think would you feel confident travelling on the trains at the moment?
I am sad that there's so many things have happened in 3 years. That is the reason I've hung.
Well, more than 3 years. More than 3 years. I mean, say they were nationalised in 95.
Watford, but since nationalisation.
No, privatisation. And privatisation happened 5 or 6 years. 5 or 6 years ago.
Used the wrong expression. There's been 3 major ones in the last 3 years, really. You know. And I think, when is it all going to end? Because there is loss of life every time. And someone is saddened by it. Someone is very saddened by it. This family's saddened by it.
Well, I'm sure they are. And
I know I'm being serious, because when I was listening to you, I thought, it's lovely. It's lovely to hear flippant things. People being light-hearted about things, but there are people who are...
Well, we've discussed it today on 3 calls today. We've talked about rail safety and the rail industry and what have you. And,
I've just been watching BBC 2 on the television, and Jeremy Paxman talking to the rail regulators and people like that.
I think they're all in cahoots.
Well,
I don't believe there's such a thing as an independent rail regulator.
Yeah, to be honest with you. 3 years ago, my son ended his life on the Southall crash. And I thought to myself then, surely God, they're going to get things sorted out.
On the what crash, sorry?
The Southall.
Oh, the Southall, aye.
And it was only, I know you say Southall, we say Southall. To me, in 3 years, surely they have to get their act together. And we've talked about it, we've been down for... all kinds of conferences, God knows what, In the meanwhile, people are feeling very, very hurt by the fact that they have lost a loved one.
Yeah.
Then you come to Ladbroke Grove. The talk about that, Southall is forgotten.
Yeah.
In some respects, it's forgotten. Then we come to this awful tragedy once again on the GNER line. And I've been down on the train a few times since then. I've put my faith in them because I thought, well, it can only happen once, maybe twice. You don't expect it to happen again. But I think the public should get up in arms and really shout, because there is nothing.
Well, what should they do? I mean, first off, it seems this last accident, there's no such thing as an accident. I don't believe accidents.
It shouldn't have happened.
There's no such thing as an accident.
No,
there's a cause and effect. But it seems that it's the rail at fault. Therefore, the GNER can't be held accountable because they're just riding on the train. And if it comes to rail track. But what do we do? We've got a government who have the majority of its membership of the Labour Party, the majority of the Labour Party would want the rail to be nationalised.
That's correct.
And you've got a leadership who just will not do it.
Well, will it ever come to that situation where there's going to be nationalised? I don't think it will, love. I think we are now with the 20th century, 21st century, where, profits before, but
it's up to the people to say no.
People have written... We've done everything we possibly could in regards to sending petitions and God knows what not to them. And I know sometimes you've got the paperwork and it doesn't make a ha'porth of difference.
I'll tell you about petitions. I remember a friend of mine used to work in 10 Downing Street and Bottle and Liners. The petition came in the front door, it was carried straight through and went into a skip at the back.
And the other thing is, I have been a socialist all my life, but I feel sickened by Prescott's attitude. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
He's disappointed me.
Because to me, it just seemed as though he can get his act together, as long
Well, he's the Deputy Prime Minister.
I know that.
Yeah, and he's got the two people. The two people we talk about here, very simple. One is called Tony Blair and one is called Gordon Brown.
Yes.
And it's them two. If them two decided, one of them decided that this has got to stop and then we are going to nationalise, then it would happen. But both of them hate nationalisation and both of them are so scared of upsetting the city and the big business and the money that they will allow, and I've got to say this, that what they're doing is in their inactivity, they are allowing people to die. And the companies themselves have got to stand among them to be pointed at and said, you are letting people die.
That's right.
And as it's rightly said, if yesterday all the track in Britain was safe and suddenly there's 100 deadly spots today, how dare they lie?
It shocks you.
How dare they lie?
But you see, in a way, they haven't been touched by it. I wonder how they would feel if they lost a beautiful son, because I'll tell you what, he was the only one from the northeast that was one of the injured, that was killed from here.
Mm-hmm.
My Jed, I lost a beautiful son, but there are people who have lost their daughters, husbands, sons, and you've got another case this week where there are people grieving. God bless them. My heart goes out to them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, love, listen, that was all I wanted to say.
Marion, probably the first time in 5 years somebody's come on here and could talk about something from a point of view that nobody else can, and probably nobody else who listening can. And I'm glad you've done that, and I'm very sorry for that it was Jed who was taken from you.
I had to ring tonight because when I saw all that claptrap about how they are trying to work together. This is the rail people and the train people. They're trying to work together. They haven't got that together because they're one fighting against the other.
They've had their go and they've lost it. Right. And you go right away back. They have it is profit before people. And sadly, all the grieving parents from Southall, from Ladbroke Grove, have had no impact. When they're saying now we must get our act together, you think, well, all the tears that have been shed and all your cries of regret and how appalled you are and how sad you feel for the families of the bereaved must have been lies. It had to be lies because you're still lying now. Yeah. You're telling us that the rail is okay one day and then you're admitting that it's not okay the next day. That's lies.
That is right.
And that is a kind of a nasty lie because you are treating the people as though we're ignorant and the people who are grieving. Tears have no effect. No. Tears do not affect a pound.
No, well,
and I'm afraid.
There's no way I would cry in front of them, I'm afraid, but I would just certainly tell them. And when my daughter-in-law heard on Tuesday, she says, I wish, God, I was down there. I was going to get a hold of somebody and wring my neck. And I thought, well, whose neck can you wring? Whose neck can you wring? She felt so angry, and I thought, God, the truth, how many more we're going to hear about?
What we have is cover-ups and cover-ups and cover-ups. And look at the Marchioness disaster. It took years, 10 years or more, to get an inquiry into the terrible disaster on the Thames.
That's another
there's a political dimension there that probably still won't come out, where Margaret Thatcher's involved and our friends who own the company. Is there any part in that? We find out the Lockerbie. How many years of Lockerbie?
Yeah.
It is, and what it is human beings putting the state or putting the company first above people. And until we change that attitude, then I'm afraid that the corporate number crunchers will carry on with the same way. They'll throw out regrets and platitudes and then do bog all.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's pound shillings and pence that takes preference over life.
Well, Marion, thanks for coming on, darling.
Thank you, and I'm sorry if I've brought a lot of misery, but I just wanted to talk to you and
darling,
bring it to the public, you know?
The sorrow that you've had in your life after you lost Jed but entitles you to come on this programme and speak your mind.
If you ever met him, he was just an absolute star. He was a monkey when he was a kid, but he was a star, and he was my son, and he was lovely. That's how I look at it. Right?
Okay, man.
Love you very much, and God bless.
Thanks for calling.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye. 01914 477 2000. George.
All right, Mike.
Hi, how are you going, George?
All right, mate. I was on last week for the first time. I never got my fanfare.
Oh! I don't even know the fanfare.
I'm the pizza delivery driver from Pallion.
All right, I've got you. Aye. What do they call it again? Pizza...
I'm known as the Uno Cutter.
Uno Cutter, that's it. Uno Cutter.
Aye, all right, mate. I'll tell you what it is. I've always listened to you. And I've become aware of the regular speakers who come on. And I've just been observing tonight a few of the people who speak regular, I think have missed the vocations.
Who's that?
Well, your friend Raymond.
Raymond.
He should have been a priest, you know. You know, he's so into God, he should have been a priest.
He should have been a bloody witch doctor.
And then you've got your best mate, Richard.
Oh, well, there you are.
He should have been a psychologist.
He should be under a psychologist.
Well, nothing you say seems to have an answer, you know.
No, he's quite right. He's in his own way. They're all unique, but anybody's entitled to come on. There's no such thing as a regular. You know, you come on. And if I decide you're getting too often, then I'll dump you. And
hey, Mike, didn't get me wrong. I mean, the witty.
But everybody's entitled to come on this.
They are the witty in our ways. Especially Raymond.
You just don't cross me.
And I've got this thing in my mind that Geordie Rinker and Raymond Ho are the same person.
No, because we've had them on together.
Aye, well, fair enough.
Now, we continually get accused of pre-recording things, and I wish people would just understand, I have not got the time or inclination to come in here really early and start fanning around with recordings. I couldn't really be bothered.
No, so, what I was thinking was, imagine if Geordie Rinker and Raymond O were split personalities.
There you go.
The could gun under Richard, the psychologist.
Well, there's a threesome that that could be interesting. There's a threesome. With the question, is there a God? And I think you'll find that, well, I don't know which way that would turn out. We'll have to look at that. We'll have to maybe look at that. That could be a thing on.
Well, it's baffling me, I'll tell you. But I mean, straight up, I was listening to Pumpy coming on the radio.
Oh, we've had letters about Pumpy.
Aye.
I've got it's about 50%, I think, who say that it's a fake. It might well be, I don't know. I mean, it's up there. Anybody can come on and mark out the like up. You know what I mean? And 50% have come up with advice for it, so I don't know.
Well, I'd just like to see her, mate, you know, I mean, if she is real, you know, you can understand, you know, why she was, as you put her, I think the word you used was an ignorant virgin at the time when she first came on, you know, with, I mean, a mother like hers.
Well,
like what she
as I say,
if she is pregnant, I would just like to see her. I think she would make a lot better mother than what her mother was towards her. You know? Bottom line is on this programme, I believe you until I find that it's so crazily ridiculous. Then it's a laugh. And at the minute, I'm still out to lunch with Poppy. But if it is Poppy, and I'm not going to say somebody actually phoned me up and said I should go around and check up on it, and I was like. The letter I've written back is, why don't you sod off, you dipstick? You know, I've got better things to do with me time than gone up and check on people who phone in the programme, unless I've decided to go down and smack them. Well, I was listening in the car at the time when the mother came on and I got a shock.
You got a shock?
I got a shock with which way she went on and I couldn't believe it. But I mean, you handled it spot on.
I think she'd been smoking herbs. I think she'd been hitting the azaleas. You can never tell. Oh, what mad women, man. Poison little thing, by God. Oh, aye.
I would imagine, I mean, this is the lighter side of it, but imagine them being the same person.
Imagine the poor husband.
Oh,
that's what I always think of the husband in cases like this. Okay?
All right.
Gotcha. 0191 477 2000. We're running out of time. And we're nearly down the calls now. We'll come to John in a moment, and then we've got Steve, and then I think it's deed time. Oh no, Lottie's still on the phone, Banjo. Listen for the song, buds. Oh, I'm starving as well, you know. You know when you have lunch? I had lunch, and I've had nothing else until I get back. I go and towel. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Obviously, bring me on. I'm always bringing me on there. You know, juice. The old juices, you know what I mean?